The bottle sitting in your kitchen right now may have already been involved in a federal lawsuit before it ever reached your pantry. Not a rumor, not internet speculation. An actual legal case that ended with packaging changes, revised labeling, and millions of dollars in settlements. And yet most shoppers never heard about it. Today we're following the paper trail behind some of America's biggest olive oil brands. Because when it comes to olive oil, what the label says and what the record shows are sometimes two very different things. Welcome to the brand truth. Before we name a single brand, there's one thing you need to know. Extra virgin olive oil commands premium prices because it is supposed to meet strict quality standards. But in the United States, companies generally do not need government approval before selling a bottle labeled extra virgin. Much of the system relies on manufacturers, suppliers, and voluntary testing. That creates a simple question. How do you know the bottle you bought is actually what you think it is? Let's start with brand number 5. Avoid number 5, Cola Vita. If you've ever eaten at an Italian restaurant in America, you've probably seen Cola Vita. The company generates hundreds of millions in annual revenue and has become one of the most recognizable olive oil names in the country. But independent testing programs examining imported olive oils have repeatedly raised concerns that some products marketed as extra virgin may not always maintain that quality through transportation, warehousing, and retail storage. What stands out most about Cola Vita is something missing from the bottle: the harvest date. Not the expiration date, the harvest date. Without it, consumers have no easy way to know how old the oil actually is, and freshness matters because olive oil naturally degrades over time. For a product marketed around quality, that's information many shoppers assume they're getting when they aren't. But the next brand had something much more serious attached to its record. Avoid number 4, Carapelli. Carapelli is owned by D'Olio, one of the largest olive oil companies on earth. And in a documented FDA recall, Carapelli extra virgin olive oil was pulled from distribution after pesticide residues were detected that were not permitted under U.S. standards for olive oil. That recall affected products distributed across multiple states. The company addressed the issue. But recalls leave behind a question consumers rarely ask. How did it reach shelves in the first place? There's another issue. Many Carapelli products use clear glass packaging. Food quality researchers have warned for years that light exposure accelerates olive oil degradation, meaning an oil that started as high quality can slowly lose freshness while sitting under store lighting. The next brand faced a different problem, one involving what consumers believed they were buying. Avoid number 3, Filippo Berio. For decades, Filippo Berio built its reputation around Italian heritage, and that's exactly what became the focus of a major lawsuit. Plaintiffs argued that packaging emphasizing imported from Italy created the impression that the olives themselves came from Italy. Court records showed sourcing could include olives from Spain, Greece, and Tunisia. The company maintained its labeling was legally accurate because the oil was bottled in Italy. The court allowed the case to proceed. Salov disputed the allegations, but here's the bigger takeaway. Many consumers believed they were purchasing a product made exclusively from Italian olives. The actual sourcing story was far more complicated. And what happened with our next brand helped ignite one of the biggest olive oil controversies in America. Avoid number 2, Pompeian. Pompeian has been in American kitchens for more than a century. That history earned enormous consumer trust. But the brand appeared in widely discussed olive oil quality testing that questioned whether some major imported oils consistently met extra virgin standards. Pompeian disputed those findings. Industry experts continue debating the methodology, but there is something simpler consumers can evaluate themselves. Pompeian generally does not provide the harvest date transparency seen on many premium oils, and it does not consistently carry some of the independent certifications available to competing products. For shoppers specifically buying olive oil for freshness and polyphenol content, that missing information matters. Now we come to the brand with the most extensive legal history on today's list. Avoid number 1, Bertolli. Bertolli became America's olive oil giant. For many families, it was the default choice, which is why what happened next matters. In 2018, D'Olio USA agreed to a settlement worth $7 million involving allegations related to labeling claims surrounding imported from Italy. As part of the settlement, packaging language and testing practices were changed. Separately, Bertolli products were also affected by the same FDA pesticide-related recall that impacted Carapelli. The company addressed both matters. But for consumers, the issue isn't simply whether changes were made. It's whether they ever learned the changes were necessary. Most didn't. And that's the pattern you'll notice throughout today's investigation. The paperwork existed. The average shopper never saw it. Now let's talk about the brands that actually earned trust through transparency. Buy number 3, Graza. Graza took a different approach. Instead of trying to be everything, it created 2 clearly defined oils, one for cooking, one for finishing. The company uses single-origin sourcing from Spain and openly tells consumers where its olives come from. That level of traceability is uncommon in a category built around large-scale blending. Reviewers consistently praise Graza for freshness, flavor, and transparency. And unlike many legacy brands, the company built its reputation during an era when consumers increasingly demanded proof, not marketing. Buy number 2, Kirkland Signature California Extra Virgin Olive Oil. This might be the biggest surprise on the list. A Costco private label product, yet it carries more third-party verification than many premium competitors. California-grown olives, dark glass packaging, harvest date information, independent certifications, at a price point that often undercuts major national brands. It's one of the rare examples where a lower-priced product actually provides more documented accountability. And then there's the brand that may represent the strongest overall balance of transparency, testing, and accessibility. Buy number 1, California Olive Ranch. California Olive Ranch built its reputation around something remarkably simple: showing its work. Harvest dates, independent testing, California quality standards, third-party certifications. The company has voluntarily participated in major testing initiatives and consistently provides consumers with information many competitors still leave off the bottle. Most importantly, shoppers can verify much of that information themselves. No marketing required, just evidence. Before you buy your next bottle, remember these 3 checks. First, find the harvest date, not the best buy date, the harvest date. Second, examine the packaging. Dark glass protects olive oil. Clear bottles expose it. Third, look for independent certification. A company's own claims are not verification. Independent testing is. And that's really what today's story is about. Not olive oil, trust. The brands on today's avoid list are not necessarily the worst companies in food. They're examples of what happens when consumers stop looking beyond the label. Because labels tell stories, legal records tell different stories. And at The Brand Truth, we believe you deserve to see both.